watching the world go by, under a sunny sky, strolling around the park on Sunday afternoon. Even if clouds
Hi, my name is Nick Clough, and I'm the Managing Director and one of the founders of Sensory Perspective Ltd. I'm an American who has lived in London for more than 25 years with my wife, a British QC, and our 2 sons. I'm jumping in here briefly to tell you how Sensory Perspective came into being. It was largely because I was worried about my then 5-year-old son. 28 years ago, I had a job designing and manufacturing Geiger counters, ones used in the nuclear and medical industries to detect and measure alpha, beta, gamma, and X-rays. I learned a lot about nuclear radiation, but later I began to see reports and studies about the health effects of electromagnetic radiation. Like nuclear radiation, electromagnetic radiation is invisible. Without meters, humans can't detect it. This was around the same time that mobile phones took off. They use pulsing microwave frequency signals for the transmission of voice and data over long distances. Unfortunately, these man-made pulsing signals are more biologically active. And soon, thousands of peer-reviewed studies appeared indicating interference with the blood-brain barrier, elevated brain glucose, and reduced sperm motility, to name just a few. On top of that, in 1996, Swiss Re, one of the world's largest insurers, issued a 40-page report warning the entire insurance industry about this emerging risk. So very quickly, I discovered that all these wonderful and practical wireless technologies we were using did indeed pose very serious health risks. One of our customers, who had purchased a Geiger counter, reported that he had taken his meter home and suddenly heard it clicking wildly as he neared his bed. Underneath it, he had stored a box of old aircraft instruments, and it turned out that the dials were covered in highly radioactive radium paint. Unknowingly, he and anyone else in that room had been exposed to harmful alpha, beta, and gamma rays. I couldn't help but think a similar scenario could be taking place in my own home. So I borrowed a 2,000-pound frequency analyzer and checked out my 5-year-old son's bedroom. And what I discovered was a mobile phone mast just 60 meters outside his window. This meant that every minute he spent in his bedroom, he was exposed to pulsing microwave frequency radiation at higher levels than those allowed today in Italy, Switzerland, India, Russia, and China. To prevent this radiation from reaching my son, I went out and bought some military-grade shielding material. My wife and I lined his curtains and covered the wall with it, checked for radiation again, and made sure he was safe. My son was now protected, but I also discovered that the cordless deck phone next to my own bed was emitting a strong signal 24/7 through several walls and even without the handset. In fact, it was emitting just as much radiation as the phone mast 60 meters away. Suffice it to say, I was shocked and realized that every home and office must now have similar issues. The EU is now poised to implement the Physical Agents Directive, which is health and safety legislation requiring employers to conduct radiation surveys of the workplace. Given all the action that has followed since I first became aware of this problem, I'm glad that I checked this out myself and for my family. But don't take my word for all of this yet. Listen to the facts coming up and judge for yourself.
In 2011, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified all radiofrequency electromagnetic fields as Category 2B, possibly carcinogenic to humans. All radiofrequency wireless technologies are now considered as a possible cancer-causing agent, and not just mobile phones. This is the same category as lead, DDT, exhaust fumes, and chloroform. In line with this classification, many countries such as Canada, Germany, Russia, the UK, and France have issued advice on this subject. The French National Assembly voted to use hardwired connections in schools, not Wi-Fi. The 47 member countries of the Council of Europe have called for a ban on Wi-Fi used in schools and urge governments to inform the public about the risks so that people can use these technologies safely. The German government recommends against the installation of Wi-Fi in schools, and the Russian National Committee on Non-Ionizing Radiation warns schools against the use of wireless communications. Furthermore, the Swiss government has issued a comprehensive 50-page report about electrosmog in the environment.
There is no doubt that EMR poses very serious health risks, and with the intense development and proliferation of wireless technologies and devices, these risks are reaching farther and growing stronger every year. Governments, authorities, and institutions around the world are making progress with legislation and further research, but it's very clear that we won't be rolling back this technology anytime soon. Detection of and protection from electromagnetic radiation should be just as easily accessible as the devices that emit it, and we have the knowledge and products to make that a reality. The market for these products is emerging and valuable, estimated at over $2 billion. With all that Sensory Perspective has achieved so far, it has a distinct first-mover advantage. Importantly, our detectors and protection solutions are tested by independent labs to international standards, just like in the nuclear industry. They are designed to be used by both the public and health and safety professionals alike. This was our first electrosmog detector, and it's revealing the actual signals and transmissions of the sources around me right here in the park. Mobile phones, masts, transmitters, Wi-Fi routers, Bluetooth systems, cordless telephones, etc. Of course, these signals are easily blocked using our lightweight shielding material. Let me close here with some key facts. Our first detector sold 10,000 units, both direct to the public and B2B. They generated the same turnover in our protection materials, pound for pound. One private customer alone purchased over 40,000 pounds of shielding curtain material for his Mayfair home. When we had sold 10,000 units, it was clear to all of us that we had a tiger by the tail and a proven business model that merited serious upscaling with new products into global markets. Sensory's engine is a world-class management team, well-equipped to guide our business into the global marketplace. Brian Steen, CBE, is our chairman. He grew Samworth Brothers from a turnover of $75 million to $800 million in 15 years. He is himself highly electrosensitive. Based in Boston, we have Sandra Lawrence, ex-vice president of Johnson & Johnson USA, who was in charge of launching new consumer products there. Here in London, we have Chris Deering, ex-CEO of Sony Europe. He sold 46 million PlayStations and came up with the low-cost Sherlock detector, which is our next mass consumer project. We are also very privileged to have Alistair Phillips as our technical director. His briefing organization, PowerWatch, is now in its 25th year and is well respected throughout the global scientific community and by the government's public health body, PHE. Thank you for watching.
Largely unseen, seldom recognized, it has played a tremendously important role in the improvement of our standard of living. As you might expect, the Greeks had a name for it. They called it the unquenchable, indestructible stone. They called it asbestos.